All right, so welcome to another deep dive. And today we're going to time travel a bit.
Ooh,
Yeah,
fun.
right. Back to February 2nd, 1885.
Okay.
We're going to drop in on a British merchant captain. Name's Blight.
Okay.
Just picture this, right? You wake up, cozy Liverpool hotel room, radio's on, crackling with news that's about to,
Big news.
yeah, change the world.
Aw.
Our source material today, The British Merchant and A Tale of Two Kingdoms by Say and Edward. It's historical fiction.
Love that.
Gives us this little peek into this moment. So,
I'm intrigued. Why this date? What's so special about Captain Blade?
well, let's dive in and find out.
Okay.
So the radio Blight's listening to, right? It's
Yeah.
announcing the results of something called the Berlin West African Conference.
Ah, yes, the Berlin Conference. Now, this was a significant event. You see, the major European powers basically got together to decide,
Wait, they just decided.
pretty much, to decide how they would carve up Africa.
Carve up
Yeah, for colonization.
like a pie?
Exactly. Almost like a board game, with each country trying to get the biggest slice.
Wow. Okay, so they're just like claiming territories.
Well, it wasn't quite that simple. They established this concept of effective occupation, meaning you couldn't just claim a piece of land on a map.
Right.
You had to show you were actually in control, set up a trading post, establish some kind of government, that sort of thing.
Ah, so proof you were actually doing something there.
Exactly.
Okay. So who got what in this land grab?
Well, Britain, they snagged some pretty key areas: Gambia, Freetown, the Gold Coast, and that Niger River region.
Mm-hmm.
Germany, they got a couple of strategic spots like Togo and Cameroon. And France, well, they seem to have the biggest appetite, claiming a huge chunk of the continent. Places like Timbuktu, Guinea, the Ivory Coast, you name it.
Wow. So they just like took over.
That's putting it simply. But yeah, this conference, it basically set in motion decades of colonialism in Africa. It shaped borders, economies, societies. We're talking lasting impacts for generations.
I mean, wow, that's a lot to unpack. And it all stems from this one meeting.
It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it. Those arbitrarily drawn borders back then, they still contribute to many of the conflicts and political instability some African nations experience today. It's a direct line.
Yeah. The book actually mentions that Liverpool is going through a pretty harsh winter at this time.
Oh, interesting.
Now, why would that matter?
Well, let's think about it. Blight, he's a merchant captain, right? His whole livelihood depends on trade, on those shipping routes.
You're-
A brutal winter, well, that could really mess things up. Shipping lanes disrupted, trade impacted, access to resources. Who knows what else could happen? Now, put yourself in the shoes of a European leader at this time, right? You're seeing potential instability on the horizon. You're looking to secure resources, open up new trade routes.
And Africa's looking pretty good.
Exactly. Suddenly, this scramble for Africa takes on a whole new urgency.
Wow. So you're saying this bad winter in Europe could have actually pushed them harder towards Africa?
It's a fascinating connection, isn't it? Definitely something worth considering. I mean, we often think of these big historical events in isolation, but in reality, everything's connected, right?
Absolutely. The novel, it describes Captain Blight. After hearing this news, he just turns down the radio and he's like deep in thought, just, smoking his pipe.
Yeah.
What do you think is going through his mind?
Well, he could be worried, right? Competition for resources is about to get fierce. Or maybe he's excited. Maybe he sees this as a chance for new opportunities in Africa. Who knows? Maybe he's a bit of both. Maybe even a little suspicious of what these European powers are really up to.
Yeah, that's such a great point. This one event, this one broadcast, it could have completely changed his life, maybe even changed the course of entire nations. It's amazing to think about.
And it's not just about politics and economics. Think about the cultural ramifications. How did the partitioning of Africa influence art, music, literature? It's a whole other layer to consider.
It's crazy to think about how a bad winter in Liverpool could be connected to something so huge. Like it's almost a domino effect.
Absolutely. And that's history for you, full of surprises and unexpected connections. Always pay attention to those little details, those seemingly insignificant things. They often lead to the most amazing discoveries.
Exactly. And that's what these deep dives are all about. So as you go about your day, keep those eyes peeled. You never know what connections you might find. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Keep exploring. Bye. Bye.